Hi students, today we will continue the compounds of xenon. Here in the compounds of xenon, we set the preparation methods of xenon fluorides and in the properties of xenon fluorides if you are taking. The first point is xenon fluorides. The xenon fluorides are colorless crystalline, colorless crystalline sublimable solids, sublimable solids, colorless crystalline sublimable solids. They can be sublimed at 298 Kelvin temperature. They undergoes to sublimation at 298 Kelvin temperature. These are colorless crystalline sublimable solids. And second point, they are good fluorinating agents. They are good fluorinating agents. And third point, they easily undergoes to hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means reaction with water. They easily undergoes to hydrolysis. And here, suppose if you are taking XeF2, xenon difluoride, it reacts with water. 2XeF2 reacts with 2H2O to give 2Xe plus 4HF plus O2. Xenon and HF and oxygen is formed. That is, xenon difluoride hydrolysis gives xenon, HF and O2. And next, suppose if xenon tetrafluoride is taken, this is undergoing to hydrolysis to form same Xe plus HF plus O2. Along with this, we are getting XeO3. Okay, here it is 6XeO4 plus 12H2O gives 2XeO3 plus here 2Xe means how many Xe we have? 6. Already 2Xe over. So the remaining is 4Xe. And here it is 24HF. 24HF and 3O2. That is that with xenon tetrafluoride. So xenon difluoride gives Xe, HF and O2 only. Xenon tetrafluoride on hydrolysis gives Xe, HF and O2 plus we are getting XeO3, xenon trioxide. Okay, and next xenon hexafluoride, XeF6 undergoes to hydrolysis. Here the xenon hexafluoride hydrolysis reaction, we are taking XeF6 plus 2H2O. Similarly, XeF6 plus 3H2O. So why these three reactions means the first two reactions are considered as partial hydrolysis reactions. These are considered as partial hydrolysis. Partial hydrolysis reactions, and this is a complete hydrolysis reaction. It is a complete hydrolysis reaction. So partial hydrolysis and complete hydrolysis. By the partial hydrolysis, what are the products? And by the complete hydrolysis, what are the products? Here by the partial hydrolysis, here first please remember how to write the products easily. How many hydrogens we have? 2. Here 6 fluorine atoms are there. 2 hydrogen plus 2 fluorine. You write it as 2HF. And what is the remaining? Here xenon is present, 4 fluorine atoms, 1 oxygen is present. So it is forming XeOF4. So first we are writing 2 hydrogens plus fluorine 2HF. Remaining is XeOF4. Next XeF6 plus 2H2O. Here how many hydrogen? 2 2s are 4 hydrogen. 4 fluorine atoms combine to form 4HF. 4HF, and remaining fluorine atoms and oxygen Xe, O2 and F2. The remaining are Xe, O2 and F2. Next, here 3 2s are 6 hydrogen, 6 hydrogen plus 6 fluorine, we are getting 6HF plus remaining Xe and 3 oxygen atoms only present, so we are getting XeO3, xenon trioxide. So this is a easy way to write the products with xenon hexafluoride. So whenever they are undergoing to partial hydrolysis, what are the products? They forms xenon oxyfluorides, either XeOF4 or XeO2F2, that is depending upon the number of moles of water. If 1 mole of water molecule is reacting, it gives XeOF4 and 2HF. If 2 moles are reacting, it gives XeO2F2 and HF. If it is complete hydrolysis process, whenever it is a complete hydrolysis process, it gives xenon trioxide and HF. Okay, so this method is also taken for the xenon trioxide preparation. Okay, so this is a hydrolysis reactions of different xenon fluorides. Difluoride gives only xenon, HF and O2. Tetrafluoride gives xenon trioxide, xenon, HF and O2. Okay. Another important point here, XeO3, which is formed in this reaction, is a colorless. It is a colorless explosive solid. It is a colorless explosive solid. So colorless explosive solid. And XeOF4, the XeOF4 which is formed in this reaction is a colorless volatile liquid. So XeOF4 is colorless volatile liquid, XeO3 is a colorless explosive solid. Next property, XeF2 reacts with PF5 and this is forming XeF plus and PF6 minus. Similarly, XeF4 reacts with SbF5 and this is forming XeF3 plus and SbF6 minus. And suppose if XeF6 is taken, then it reacts with any metal fluoride. Here M means it may be sodium, potassium or rubidium or cesium. Suppose NaF is taken, then we are getting M plus and XeF7 minus. Here these are called as fluoride ion donors. Here this is a fluoride ion donor and this is a fluoride ion acceptor because it is accepting a fluorine. Please see the reaction. XeF2 is converting into PF5 to PF6, means this is taking. So this is called as, these two compounds are called as PF5 and SbF5 are called as fluoride acceptors. These are called as fluoride acceptors, fluoride ion acceptors. And this MF5, this metal fluoride, here this is called as a fluoride donor. So this fluoride donor and the fluoride acceptors are reacting. Fluoride acceptors when reacting, then xenon difluoride or tetrafluoride is donating a fluorine and so it is forming PF6 minus negative anion and SbF6 minus negative anion and these are forming fluoride cations. Okay, and if it is a metal fluoride, then it is forming M plus XeF7 minus, and this is called as a fluoride donor. This is known as fluoride donor. Here, fluoride anions are forming fluorocations, and with fluoride donors, it is forming a metal fluoride complex. And here, why this is fluoride acceptor, why this is fluoride donor means simply remember PF5, SbF5 are covalent compounds, whereas metal fluoride, these fluorides are ionic in nature. These are ionic in nature, whereas these are covalent. They are covalent in nature. That is the simple and easiest reason, best reason. The covalent compounds accepts fluoride acceptors, and ionic compound here acting as a fluoride donor. Okay. Next, about structures of xenon compounds. Structures of xenon compounds. Here, if you are taking the structure of xenon compounds, first we will see about the fluorides XeF2. What is the fluoride xenon difluoride hybridization of xenon? Here, xenon, the valence shell contains 8 electrons. To get the hybridization, I will give a trick. Write the 8 electrons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the 8 electrons, each fluorine atom can form a single bond with xenon 1 electron. So 2 single bonds. The remaining you must make a pair. So this is one lone pair, this is second lone pair, this is third lone pair. And here this is one sigma bond, this is another sigma bond. Here 2 sigma bonds and 3 lone pairs. 2 sigma bonds plus 3 lone pair. So total number of electron pairs means it is equal to 5. Whenever a central atom around it is having 7 electron pairs, then the hybridization of that central atom is sp3d. If it is a 2 sigma bond plus lone pair number is 2, that is sp hybridized. 2 lone pairs or 2 electron pairs are present, it is sp hybridized. If it is 3, sp2 hybridized. If it is 4, it is sp3 hybridized. If it is 5, 5, it is called as sp3d hybridized. If it is 6, it is sp3d2 hybridized. If it is 7, it is sp3d3 hybridized. I think about this you studied in the first year hybridization concept, chemical bonding chapter. Okay, so now we have 3 lone pairs and 2 bond pairs. So it has 5 and total hybridization is sp3d. And in the sp3d hybridization, generally what is the expected shape? The expected shape is a trigonal bipyramidal. But because of 3 lone pairs, it is having only linear shape. The shape of the molecule is linear. So I can write like Xe and here one F and this is another F, or you can write like here this is one F and this is another F, and the remaining 3 fluorine 3 lone pairs we can indicate like this. So these 3 lone pairs are present in the equatorial position. This is in equatorial position, and the 2 bond pairs are present in axial position. That is XeF2 molecule. Okay, how much is the angle means? It is 180 degrees. So that is XeF2 formation. So this is a simplest way to find the hybridization of the XeF2. And second one, here if you are taking XeF4, xenon tetrafluoride, xenon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons are present and 4 fluorine atoms are there. So 1 fluorine, second fluorine, third fluorine, fourth fluorine. And this is a lone pair and this is another lone pair. So here 2 lone pairs are present. 4 sigma bonds are there. All single bonds are sigma bonds. So 4 sigma bonds plus 2 lone pairs, that is equal to 6. Total 6 means here 6 means what is the hybridization? sp3d2. So this is sp3d2 hybridized. Actual shape as per the hybridization means octahedral. But here XeF4 molecule has two lone pairs, and so this is having 1 and 2 and 3 and this is 4, and there is one more lone pair above the plane, another lone pair below the plane, and these four are present in one plane, and the structure is called as square planar. It is called as square planar. The structure is known as square planar shape. Square, SQ means square, PL means planar, square planar shaped molecule. Okay, this is XeF2, XeF4. The next molecule, third one, that is XeF6. For the XeF6 molecule also again same, xenon 8 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 6 fluorine atoms are there. Each fluorine forms a single bond, and so these are the 6 fluorine atoms, and now we have one lone pair. So 6 sigma bonds plus one lone pair is present. Total it is 7. 7 means the hybridization is sp3d3. But here it has one lone pair. Instead of pentagonal bipyramidal, it is having distorted. It is having distorted octahedral structure. And how this distorted octahedral structure we can represent? So here one fluorine, second fluorine, this is third one, and this is the fourth one, and this fifth one is a lone pair. Okay, all these are present in same plane. And next another one, and this is the sixth fluorine atom. This is the distorted octahedral geometry for XeF6 molecule. And next fourth one, XeO3, xenon oxides. In the xenon oxides, if you are taking xenon 8 electrons, same 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and each oxygen can form a double bond. In the double bond, one is sigma, another one is pi. And here another oxygen atom, one is sigma, another one is pi. And here oxygen, one sigma, one pi. This is a lone pair. In calculation of hybridization, we consider only sigma bonds, and 3 sigma plus 1 lone pair. Total it is equal to 4. Total 4 means we will get sp3 hybridization. Generally, without lone pair, sp3 means tetrahedral, but there is one lone pair. So the shape of the molecule is pyramidal, trigonal pyramidal, or it is a pyramidal shape. And here pyramidal shape we can indicate like 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, and this is the fourth lone pair. Okay, this is a sp3 hybridized and pyramidal shaped molecule. And next, fifth one. Here we are taking fifth one. Okay, and fifth one is taken, the molecule is XeOF4. XeOF4 means same xenon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons are present, and in this 8 electrons, one fluorine atom, and this is second fluorine atom, this is third fluorine atom, and this is the fourth fluorine atom, third fluorine, and this is oxygen, one oxygen atom, and this is the lone pair. This is lone pair. And next it is a sigma bond. This is also a sigma bond. This is also sigma, sigma, sigma. So here how many sigma bonds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one lone pair. So 5 sigma bonds plus one lone pair. One lone pair it has. Total it is 6. 6 means actually octahedral, but because of one lone pair, it is having square pyramid shape. This is in square pyramid shape. Square pyramid shape. How square pyramid shape we can write? Xe, F, F, and another fluorine, which are present in one plane. These four are present in one plane. Above the plane, we are writing one oxygen atom with a double bond, and below the plane there is a lone pair. This is square pyramid shape for XeOF4 molecule. Next one, XeO2F2. Here XeO2F2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons, and in this one fluorine atom, another fluorine atom, one oxygen atom, another oxygen atom, and again one lone pair. So 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, 4 sigma. 4 sigma bonds plus 1 lone pair, total it is equal to 5. 5 means it is sp3 dehybridation. Actually sp3 dehybridation means 5 of bipyramidal, but it is having what type of molecular shape? Yes, it is a very important shape. This is called as seesaw shape. How this seesaw shape we can write? This is one fluorine, this is another fluorine, and here this is the lone pair, and here these are present in one plane, and this is above the plane. Sorry, here it is double bond O, and here it is double bond O, and this is above the plane, and this is below the plane. This is XeO2F2 molecule. XeO2F2 molecule structure. The last one, XeO4. Here XeO4 means xenon tetroxide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One oxygen, second oxygen, third oxygen, fourth oxygen. 1 sigma, second sigma, third sigma, fourth sigma. 4 sigma bonds it is having, no lone pairs, so it is 4. 4 means it is sp3 hybridized. sp3 hybridized means we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 that is tetrahedral shape. The molecule is tetrahedral because no lone pairs, so it is a tetrahedral shaped molecule. This is about the structures of xenon compounds. Okay. Next important compound, the next important property, that is clathrates. Clathrate compounds formation. Here noble gases when we are taking, mainly helium, neon, argon, krypton also not considered, xenon, mainly xenon, and very little krypton also, a small amount of krypton also. So helium, neon, argon doesn't form clathrates. Krypton and xenon, mainly xenon, not krypton also, little bit, a small amount of krypton also. So krypton, xenon forms clathrates. So they asked a question previously, which of the following compounds forms, which of the following noble gases forms clathrate compounds? Here the answer is krypton or xenon only. Why the helium, neon, argon are not forming clathrate compounds? First of all, what is clathrate compounds? Here clathrate compounds means mainly some compounds, some organic compounds if you are taking, they have some crystal structures. In the crystal structures, there is a large gap or large volume present in the crystal lattices. Means there is some space, we can call it as voids like. So a large gap is present in between the ions or in between the molecules of a crystal lattice. So the crystal structures are having a large gaps. Those gaps are filled by this krypton or xenon. Example for this is xenon diquinol. Xenon diquinol when we are taking, suppose here this is OH and OH, okay, and another molecule xenon we are taking. So this is having hydrogen bonds. In this gap there is a xenon. Here this is xenon, and this type of noble gas elements, larger atomic sized or larger noble gases are only trapped in the package or in the crystal lattice pack of some organic compounds, forms clathrate compounds. So clathrate compounds means these are the compounds which are formed by the larger noble gas elements or bigger noble gas elements when they are trapped in the volume or the space or void of some organic compounds. The gaps are filled by these elements. So they are called as clathrate compounds, and because of their small size they can escape easily. Helium, neon, argon can escape easily from the gaps. So they are not forming these clathrate compounds. So helium, neon, argon, because of their small size they are not able to form clathrate compounds, but krypton and xenon mainly forms clathrate compounds. Next, uses of noble gases. In this first one about helium. Helium is a non-inflammable and a light gas, and this is mainly used in the filling of balloons. In filling balloons which are used for the meteorological observations. Means weather changes, mainly in the atmosphere changes or weather changes. When we are using for the weather change observations, they are called as meteorological balloons, and in these balloons are filled by using helium gas. This is first point. Second point, it is also used as a diluent. It is also used as a diluent of oxygen for the deep sea divers. Deep sea divers mainly to observe the marine life, aquatic life, so how they are under their conditions. The deep sea divers uses oxygen cylinder. The oxygen cylinder contains generally oxygen and nitrogen mixture, but at the deep sea the pressure is high, so oxygen and nitrogen can mix. So it will be damaging or it will cause health problems or breathing issues for the deep sea divers. So what they are taking is the mixture of oxygen and helium is taken. The helium doesn't dissolve in blood, so for the deep sea divers, modern diving operators are filled by using helium and oxygen mixture. And next, third point, liquid helium if you are taking. Liquid helium means its boiling point is 4.2 Kelvin, a very low boiling point. Liquid helium is used as a cryogenic agent to carry the experiments at very low temperatures. Some experiments can be conducted at very low temperatures. So to provide that low temperature, we are using liquid helium. And this is also used in the superconducting magnets. Superconducting magnets. Here superconducting magnets are used for NMR spectroscopy or in the MRI scan. In the MRI scan and the NMR spectroscopic methods, the instruments are used to prepare by using the superconducting magnets of liquid helium, and these are used for clinical purpose. NMRI and NMR scan is there, and for that purpose we are preparing this by using liquid helium superconducting magnets. Okay. The next one, neon. The neon is used in the discharge tubes. In the discharge tube and in the fluorescent bulbs. Mainly in the fluorescent bulbs. So mainly these fluorescent bulbs are used in the display. Means some displays are there. The advertisement purpose. In the advertisement purpose, we are taking these neon tubes or neon lamps mainly, that is filled by using neon gas. The next one, argon. Here argon is used in same discharge tubes or in fluorescent bulbs, and main purpose of argon is to provide inert atmosphere. In some industrial processes, mainly in metallurgy, in the metals extraction. Suppose if sodium extraction is conducted in the Castness process or in the Downs process, we use the extraction for sodium, and in that method, if we are providing the normal atmosphere, generally sodium metal is extracted whenever it is coming onto the surface. Suppose this is a sodium metal extraction vessel, and here we are getting the surface sodium metal as has come. And if it is in contact with the normal atmosphere, this is normal atmosphere means we have oxygen. This sodium metal easily reacts with the oxygen and forms sodium oxides. So everything will be getting damaged. Means the metal is not extracted, we are getting metal oxide only. So here to provide the pure or to get the pure sodium metal without converting into sodium oxide, we are taking argon atmosphere. Means it is completely closed and this is a fully completely evacuated. Oxygen is evacuated, removed, and we are taking argon. Argon is taken here, argon gas is filled at that place, then argon is filled, argon is inert, it doesn't react with sodium, then we can remove the sodium metal purest form. And to provide such type of inert atmosphere in metallurgical process, we are using the argon. And there is no specific uses for krypton and xenon. Radon is used in the radioactive treatment for cancer treatment, radiotherapy in cancer treatment, and radon ointments are also there for the cancer treatment, final stage cancer treatment. Radon ointments are also prepared. They are also used for the final stage cancer pains to remove the or to reduce to get the relief from the final stage cancer patients' pains.